What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I'm your host, the PMM, the Physical Media Mack. And I'm bringing you my 2023 Blu-ray horror movie collection today, guys. Now, I have approximately 130 Blu-ray horror films right here in the car. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, juggling Blu-rays and showing them off in such a small, confined space, but I think we can handle it. We've done stuff like this before, like Laserdisc collections. There's a lot to get to here, guys. I'm going to try to be brief if I do any kind of explanation of the movies or summaries. That way we can get through it in hopefully an hour or so. I make no promises. All right, let's get started. This is going to be in alphabetical order. So, a numeric movie would be first, right? And then we have a shark film. Mandy Moore in 47 Meters Down. I'm actually a fan of this film. I think it's a cool shark film. Obviously, this is a shark cage film where a shark cage expedition goes horribly wrong, and the shark cage falls to the bottom of the ocean. Somehow the line gets severed, and it crashes to the bottom of the ocean, hence 47 Meters Down. Cool film. I think that's kind of surprising. That's all the numeric movies here. Now, these won't be alphabetical to the second letter, but it'll be A's, B's, C's, so on and so forth. Cool creature feature here, Anaconda. I think John Hoyt is way, possibly too over the top of this film. I don't know. He makes me laugh. Obviously, Ice Cube, Jennifer Lopez, Eric Stoltz. The CGI has not held up very good in this film, but still a cool flick. Next up here we have Annabelle Comes Home. I remember liking this one. Of course, this is part of the Conjuring series. Yeah, man. Fan of the Annabelle stuff. I think this is one of the better movies in the Conjuring series, unless I'm mixing this up with another one. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, a movie that I have not opened, and that is the legendary performance, by the way, by Christian Bale in this. It's got to be his best role. I mean, come on, can you come up with a better role than in this film? There's one scene where he's like banging some chick and like flexing in the mirror as he's banging her. Love the scene with the business cards where they're showing off the business cards, and one guy's like, it's all these like executives and Christian Bale sitting there having lunch or whatever, and oh, have you seen my new business card? And then one business card is just like better than the other one, and Christian Bale's business card is like so like over the top badass that I don't know. It's just a cool scene, the business card scene. American Psycho is a classic. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I remember showing a buddy of this in Florida when I lived in Florida, this movie, and he had not seen it, and he was blown away by it. All right, next up here we have Alien Quadrilogy. Now, I had the Quadrilogy on DVD, so it's cool picking this up on Blu-ray. And of course, this has Alien. My favorite has Aliens. Aliens was, why am I forgetting his name? Can't think of his name. For some reason, I'm thinking Chris Carpenter. I have no clue why. Y'all know who I'm talking about. James Cameron. And it says Aliens 3, and then it has Alien Resurrection. Alien Resurrection has some of the worst CGI. Not a huge fan of Alien Resurrection. The first three are right up my alley. All right, next up here we have, I'm a big fan of Robert Forster. Dee Wallace is also in this, and Richard Lynch. And this is Alligator 1 and 2. Now, this is a foreign release. Now, this is a Goodwill find for me. This is if you were to buy these on Blu-ray, it would be really expensive. So this is like a cool find and a high recommend for me to purchase the, I don't know, PAL version. I mean, what would this be considered? I don't know. It's a foreign release, but it's in English language. So, yeah, man, really cool. Definitely, if you guys want to pick this up, I would pick up the same version. Alligator 2 is like super over the top. It's definitely not as good as 1, but you know, I grew up on 1, man. He has that I don't know, I think he gets a pet like alligator at the circus, if I remember correctly, but it's like a little baby. It's like just a small lizard. And his dad finds out about it. He's like, "You're not having no alligator in our house," and he flushes it down the toilet. Well, of course, the alligator grows up in the sewer system and grows to be, I don't know, what, 35 feet long, and terrorizes the city. Classic film. Definitely a big part of my childhood. I can't remember 2. There's also an epic scene. There's a wedding scene where the alligator is killing people at a wedding. I think that's in part 2. And, oh, man, it's the best, man. Definitely saves 2. Hopefully that's not 1. I hope that's 2, because I remember 2 not being as good, so it definitely needed some filler, and that's some awesome filler. All right, now, I'm going to have to maneuver around here. Again, this is going to be a challenge. Oops. All right, here we have a Lars von Trier film. Foreign director, has a lot of controversial films. I'm a huge fan of our boy William Dafoe, and William Dafoe is the lead in this. So it's cool seeing him in one of Lars's films. And it's kind of hard to explain this film. It's been a while since I've watched it, but it's Jesus, I would probably not even describe it right. Let me see. I think if I remember correctly, their infant son climbs out. Yeah, they have a real young kid that somehow climbs out on the windowsill, and they're in like, I don't know, I don't remember, maybe like a brownstone or something, and the window is open because they're trying to get some wind through there, and the kid plummets to its death. And this is like a 3-year-old or something like that. So this puts the family in a major, the husband and wife, William Dafoe's the husband, in a major depression, especially the wife, And William Dafoe is a psychiatrist, and like one of the rules of psychiatry is you're not supposed to help your own family. You're supposed to keep that separate, especially your wife. And so he tries to take her out to a cabin and cure her or make her all better, which ends up being a huge mistake, and all kinds of really bad stuff happens. I guess I described that fairly well. All right, now, I like it. This is one of the very few Barnes & Noble movies I picked up during one of the Barnes & Noble sales. All right, a Natalie Portman film, Black Swan. I literally just watched this for the first time, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. This is a 2010 release, directed by Darren Aronofsky, who also wrote and directed Requiem for a Dream. And Natalie Portman actually won Best Actress Award in this film. Yeah, she was really good at it. Comes with a slippity dip. All right, so a movie by Larry Fessenden, independent director. And yeah, man, this movie kind of reminds me of the Creep Show, The Raft episode. But yeah, Beneath. It's basically like a giant catfish, like a monster catfish, hunts down this these guys trying to have this group of people trying to have fun in the summertime, trying to go out to a lake and, you know, skinny dip or whatever their intentions were. They get stuck in this lake and this monster fish is hunting them down. Some of the most unlikable characters you'll ever see in a film in the history of cinema. Oh my God, they're horrible characters, man. I don't know if Larry Fessenden did that on purpose, but yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, the characters. Now, I love films that have like Indian lore in it. This has like Indian folklore in it as well that's revealed in the film. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. All right, this is something I picked up at Goodwill a while back, and I have not watched any. I'm kind of surprised. I'm a big fan of Evil Dead. I've never even threw this in to watch it. It's got like a lenticular cover on it. You know, unpopular opinion, I'm not a huge fan of Army of Darkness, just because I think it kind of capsized the series a little bit. Brought too much comedy into it. I don't know what approach they had on this series, whether it's comical or it's back to the Evil Dead 2 recipe, but hopefully it's the same as Evil Dead 2, the same type of mood there. And this is the complete first season of it. So yeah, man, I should check this out really soon here. Then another series that I was super late to the party, and I have not seen Blade 2 nor Blade 3 yet. I've only watched the first Blade, and that was in the last year or so. This was another Goodwill pickup, and I think this is a foreign release, if I remember correctly. I think this is like the French release. But it's all in English language, and yeah, man. Pretty cool Goodwill find there. Alright. I mean, Blade's badass, man. Who doesn't love Blade? Alright, moving into the C's. I got a lot of C's here, guys. Let's start off with this one because I had not seen this movie yet. Case 39 with Renee Zellweger. Of course, everybody remembers her from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What was it? Part 4. She was terribly, fantastically bad in that film. And her and I think Matthew McConaughey disown the film. They're ashamed to be in it, which I always think is the most hilarious thing. And when actors do that, it just makes me laugh. It's kind of pathetic. It's like, why are you ashamed to be in a movie that's a cult classic? I mean, I don't get it. But anyway, I don't know. I have no clue about this film. It's obviously, it might be more supernatural thriller than horror, actually. It's got Bradley Cooper in it. All right, let me take a sip here. All right, it's one of my favorite first watches in the last couple of years. The Cellar. Really cool cover art there. This is a Vinegar Syndrome release. And I'm probably going to butcher. No, I'm not. It's Kevin Tenney, I believe is his name. Yeah, Kevin Tenney. Let me see. I wish I had notes on this. Kevin Tenney directed a few good films that I like, I believe. Anyway, again with the Indian folklore, this is heavily based in Indian folklore. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years since I've seen this. I only watched it once, but I really enjoyed the film. Practical effects. This Cellar monster looks badass. It's all practical. I don't know if you can see it right there. But if I remember correctly, they're drilling on Indian burial ground. You know, everyone remembers Poltergeist, right? With the shady real estate guy sells them the house that was built on Indian burial grounds and the dead skeletons in the pool, right? So same scenario here, but they didn't build a house. They actually started drilling for oil and awoken this Indian demon. And so that's what it's about. And there's a house right on the edge of the land where they're drilling at. So the demon gets inside their basement or their cellar. Yeah, man, really cool flick, man. Definitely check this one out. Highly recommend this one. Oh, here's my notes on it from when I did a pickup video. Let me see. Okay, so, all right, so Kevin Tenney directed the Witchboard movies, and the male lead role in this film is Patrick Kilpatrick, which is a really good actor, plays bad guys in a lot of films. Now, speaking of Kevin Tenney, I just ordered a movie, not Witchcraft, but there's another movie he made, I think trying to garner off the success of Witch Trap. He, what was it called? Yeah, I'm sorry, Witchboard movie. Trying to garner off the success of the Witchboard movie. He also made a movie called Witch Trap. So, and that's supposed to arrive today. I ordered that off of eBay or off of Amazon. So excited to see that. Even like on the cover, I'll show you guys when I do the video, that evil looking guy that comes forth, the demon himself from messing with the Witchboard, looks like he's on the cover of the Witch Trap one. So he was definitely trying to make a profit off of that. Which I don't blame him. It's his film. All right, I don't have to say too much about this. It's one of my favorite films of all time, based on the Stephen King book, Carrie. This is the OG Brian De Palma film. The acting in this is just insanely good. This is that artwork that was popping up in the $1.25 bush, or aka Dollar Trees. And the name of the Spanish guy who makes the artwork his name is Orlando Arocena. And he's done a bunch of artwork for horror films. Very cool. Comes with a whole booklet showing all the artwork that he did. All right, next up here. This is, I think this is the Spanish version, The Cell, but it's English. And, yeah, it's basically, it's one of the more beautiful films, man. Just, it's almost like it's just artwork, the film itself, man. The dreams are beautiful. They have all this, like, real regal cinematography and beautiful like artwork throughout the film that yeah, man, really eye-popping. Now I can't remember the name of the actor. Vincent D'Onofrio, who I think was in Full Metal Jacket. He's the one that went crazy in Full Metal Jacket, right? And he's a serial killer in this film. But I think he died or something like that. And they have a way that you can go under, and you can enter like the dream, like a dream state, and he's like inside the dream state, but now he's like more powerful than he was when he was living. Now he's like almost like a mythic being. It's kind of hard to describe, but yeah, The Cell's a good film. Vince Vaughn's also in this as well. All right, this is a movie that I picked up in the last year or so that was a really cool film. This is not anything like A League of Their Own, but these are a bunch of hot chicks playing softball. They're in a softball league, and something happens. I think their coach gets killed, or somebody gets killed by rednecks, and then the film is all about like them trying to survive, and then turns into like a revenge flick. This is from 1990, and yeah, I basically have on my notes here, A League of Their Own completely copied this movie, except this movie had beautiful big-breasted women, and that movie had filthy pigs like Rosie O'Donnell. What the hell? I must have said that as a joke, because that just sounds mean. I was probably trying to be funny. That sounds really bad. Best way to describe this movie, much better version of League of Their Own meets Deliverance. Yeah, man. Ken Carpenter's the bad guy in this film. He's really good in it. Yeah, I like this, man. This is a cool first watch for me. And that is a Vinegar Syndrome film. I guess I should be telling you guys that stuff. It's really important, isn't it? Oh, I should have showed this after the first carry. All right, I think this is basically just like a remake of the Carrie film. And this stars Grace Moretz and also Julianne Moore. Now, this is directed by Kimberly Pierce, who co-wrote and directed Boys Don't Cry, controversial film from about 10, 15 years ago. Let me see. I got notes on Lindsay Lohan. I think she was supposed to be in this at first. They also have a alternate ending version of this movie. And at least my notes say, it's been a while since I saw it, that the original ending sucks in it. So definitely recommend you watch the alternate ending of it. I remember this not being too bad. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Definitely did not like the ending even close to the original ending, though. It wasn't, you know, the whole scene at the prom was done way better. I mean, it's kind of hard to redo that. That was a masterpiece, you know. But I don't remember hating this one. You know, I'm working on probably putting out like a top 5 killer rat films of all time. I've been showing those off in my Goodwill, you know, Blu-ray hunting videos. Now, I was also thinking about probably doing like a top 5 hood films of all time, hood horror films of all time. You know, as an example, Leprechauns in the Hood, Hood Rat. What's the other one? The one that Spike Lee was involved in, the anthology. Tales from the Hood would be another one. Now, this would definitely be in the top 5 because I feel like this would be considered hood horror because they actually filmed all this on location in what was closing down or had been condemned at the time or was about to be condemned. The Chicago projects, Cabrini Greens. So that's really, really cool. Definitely would be considered hood horror. This is a classic, man. Everybody knows about this. Who directed this? Clive Barker, right? Yeah, Clive Barker. Oh, no, actually, no. Written and directed by Bernard Rose. Clive Barker produced this. He was a part of it. Huh, interesting. All right, yeah. Teaches that white woman to go to the hood. I'm just messing around. You know, I probably never said this before, but, you know, some of the CGI bothers me a little bit in this film, but I've always been a big supporter of this film and a big fan of it. And I wish there was more films out there like it where, you know, the young and innocent, you know, get these superpowers and turn them into evil. Like I watched a film recently. This is a foreign film where all these kids realize they have superpowers and stuff. And I can't remember the name of it, but I really enjoyed that one too. I just love films like that, man. I'm not really into the Marvel and DC movies, but I am a fan of this superhero villain movie genre for sure. But yeah, Brightburn's a cool flick. Basically, this is basically the story of Superman if Superman was evil as a kid. And I've heard that they're going to make a part 2 of this. So definitely looking forward to that. Because this only relates to, or only shows when, I don't know, he's like 12 years old or something like that. Or up, you know, from birth to like 12 years old, 13 years old. All right, moving on. Let's grab all these babies here. I think this is all the C's and the D's. Now, I thought this one had the artwork too. Yeah, it did. So I don't know if I got rid of the artwork or what. Oh, here it is. Okay, it fell out of the deal. So there's the art. There's that Spanish artist artwork. And again, these are popping up at Dollar Tree. I thought that was pretty cool. I actually preferred this artwork, to be honest with you. That's not original. This is a newer one as well. But yeah, Child's Play, man. Who doesn't like Child's Play? And I always forget when I watch this again. It's got that the actor's such a good actor, and I'm gonna probably forget him here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not seeing his name in here. The bad guy in this is a really good actor. I don't know why I don't see his name on it. It's kind of weird. Anyway, moving on. Oh, you know what? I can probably start putting them back in the box. All right, next up here we have... Let's go over a few Arrow films here. These are all Arrow releases. And the first one here is the legendary anthology Creepshow 2. Now, does Creepshow 1 have the raft in it, or is it 2? I think it's 2. Let me see. Oh, this has Old Chief Woodenhead. Again, with the Indian stuff I love. The raft is in this one. Yeah, Creepshow 2 is so good. And this has the hitchhiker. I mean, for them to hit it out of the park with 1 and 2, both of them are just iconic films. Now, there is a Creepshow 3, but it's not as well received. It's a little bit rarer to see. You don't see that out there very often. Now, this is going to have the reversible artwork because this is Arrow. You pay for what you get here. So let me show that off, because I can do that. I guess that's the original artwork. Is this the best anthology of all time? I wouldn't argue with you. All right, now, moving on. Oh, yes, of course. The gay slasher, Al Pacino in Cruising. Now, this gets a lot of hate and everything, but I don't really know why. I thought this was actually a really good film. And this is basically a whodunit. Obviously, it's very, very gay. But, and the funny, speaking of actors that regret being in movies, Al Pacino actually, he disowned this film, and he hates the fact that he's in it. It's so hilarious. And apparently, William Friedkin and him just, like, literally were like oil and water. They did not get along during the production of this. And, but Al Pacino is great in it, man. Like, he's really good in it. And William Friedkin's a legend, man. The Exorcist. He's done so many good films. And this takes you to the seedy S&M subculture of New York. And yeah, man, it's a good film. I don't understand the hate. I enjoyed it. It's a little, parts of it are a little uncomfortable to watch. I do admit that. Here's the original artwork. And basically, if you guys don't know, Al Pacino is there's a serial killer in the gay S&M seedy underground, right? He's killing all these people. And Al Pacino is fresh out of the police academy, brand new rookie cop. And the chief of police assigns him to go undercover in this S&M subculture. All right, I gotta start plowing through this because I got a lot going on here. All right, now, this is another Arrow release. I really enjoyed this film, man. Really over the top. I love snow horror, And the killer in this is like, he's in a, this is actually one of the best kills in the film. There's actually an icicle death in the film. But the killer is like in this, if I remember correctly, he's in this like suit where he's got the visor, like he's some kind of cool skier. And it's a whodunit. But there's also like, oh, that's right. This one actually has so that you can see the pentagram right there. This actually has like some witchcraft and some devil worship stuff in it. And these guys go out jet skiing, and girls and guys go out jet skiing, and then they find this abandoned building, and it's basically, they get snowed in because there's a snowstorm that hits. And this abandoned building used to be like a snow resort for kids, to teach kids how to, you know, to ski and stuff like that. There was like, you know, like Friday the 13th had a summer camp, right? This is like a winter camp. And they find out that they were into like devil worship and stuff like that in this camp. So all kinds of crazy shit happens, man. This is a fun watch, man. I would definitely recommend picking this one up. Chill Factor. Got this off of, I'm not going to shout them out because I asked them to send me some stuff that I could promote on the channel. And they looked at me and were like, they probably looked at me and said, yeah, little ass channel you have, we're not going to send you shit. So I'm not going to promote the website anymore that I buy this stuff off of. But, what do I care? MVD shop. No, listen, I will say this. I will throw a dart at their ass. MVD shop is bad to buy new releases. It's way too expensive. The only time you should ever buy off of MVD shop is when they throw sales. And then they have some unbelievable sales. I'll give it to them on that. But you rarely see me buy new releases off of them. You would be much better, because that's what happened to me with the Witch Trap that I just ordered. And then I won't tell you guys, I ordered 2 other films. They were all on MVD shop, and they were about 30-40% higher on MVD shop as they were on Amazon. And I was getting Amazon next day delivery as well, and they were still much cheaper. So never buy new releases, only purchase on the sale dates, if that makes any sense. All right, next up here we have The Conjuring 2. I'm not as a big a fan as this as a lot of people, to be honest with you. And I think that's the end of the C's. Oh, no. From the Conjuring series as well, we have The Curse of La Llorona. Now, you know, I didn't hate this. This film gets a lot of hate, too. I didn't really hate it. Raymond Cruz, who was in Breaking Bad, he was in Training Day as well. I don't know if you guys remember Training Day, where Denzel character takes Ethan Hawke to the gang member's house, and he's like, sit here, I gotta take care of something. But he's leaving him there so the gang members can kill Ethan Hawke, because he doesn't want to be a dirty cop like Denzel. And they're sitting around the table playing poker, and they're like, you want to play poker with us? And that Raymond Cruz guy starts talking about prison and how people are getting their shit pushed in. Guys are having sex with guys, and trying to make him feel as uncomfortable as possible. And it's really like a cringy scene. But Raymond Cruz shows off his acting chops, and he's really good in Breaking Bad as well. I've always liked him as an actor, and he's really good in this film. He makes this film watchable, to be honest with you. He's basically like the guy who fights off evil spirits and stuff, the Spanish soothsayer, or whatever you would call the guy, medicine doctor, and guy who does exorcisms on houses and stuff like that. So yeah, part of the Conjuring series. Never even opened this Blu-ray. All right, moving on to the D's. This is a cool film, elevator horror. And Shyamalan did not, M. Night did not direct this, but he did produce this. And I always got a kick out of this film. In many ways, this is a whodunit too. You don't know who's killing people in this perfect picture. And let me see. Trapped in an elevator high above Philadelphia, 5 people discover that the devil is amongst them. Yeah, so the devil is one of these people, but no one knows who it is. Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan produced it. And yeah, kind of a different film. Doesn't really feel like a lot of the horror movies at the time. Kind of a different wrinkle in horror, and I thought it was pretty well done. Next we have, I think I talked about this in my last video. I've only watched one of these, and I think I watched it when I was growing up as well. The first one, super over-the-top Corbin Bernsen film. I look forward to watching 2. Really nice addition here. I remember getting jealous seeing people on YouTube pick this up a while back. I'm late to the party on it. But now, do keep in mind they do sell a similar cover, and it's just The Dentist, the first one. So definitely pick up the second one. It's not much more money for it. And the artwork is insane on that. Next up we have The Devil's Rejects. One of the better, why is his name escaping me? Y'all know who it is. Rob Zombie movies. Then we have the cult classic Donnie Darko. Got some time travel elements in there. All right, where are we at now? We're at the east. Man, I need to start flowing through this shit. Or blowing, not flowing. All right. The Exorcist. The Exorcist. I don't know why that was a tongue twister. Evil Dead 2. One of my favorite horror films of all time. Another release, the 25th anniversary of Evil Dead 2. The original Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, or The Evil Dead. And if you guys don't know, basically, The Evil Dead 2 is kind of a loose remake of the first film. Or a reboot, I guess you'd call it. This has more comical stuff in it than this does. Although the trees are kind of hilarious. They're disturbing, but also hilarious. But this is more comical, but not even close to the Army of Darkness level of comedy. All right, now we have, okay, Friday the 13th, 8 movie collection. I think I picked this up from Walmart. I don't need to tell you about that, man. Everybody loves Friday the 13th. And we have Friday the 13th Part 2. And then Friday the 13th Part 3, obviously in 3D. I'll say this like I always say it. One of my favorites in this is the movie that Jason's not even in it. And that's going to be Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning. Highly underrated. I think that's one of the better Friday the 13th films. Definitely in my top 5 for sure. That over there. All right, who directed this? I want to give him a shout out because this is a cool film. The director of Hatchet. He directed the Hatchet films as well. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find his name on here. I just know it. Yeah, I cannot find his name. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, Adam Green, I'm sorry. So we have Frozen. This is a really cool film, man. I remember watching this on a streaming service, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And basically, this ski resort, it's getting late, and they're like, it's kind of like the premise of Open Water, the first Open Water. They're counting people, they check off too many people, they leave people in the water, and they take off, and then people are left in the ocean, right? A couple is left in the ocean. Basically, this is kind of like that same type of premise. This time, they count too many people, or they don't count people that they're sending off on this lift, and they close down. They think everybody's off of the lift. Everybody closes down. They shut the machine off, and these guys are trapped on this lift, and it gets dark really quick. A storm comes in. It's below freezing temperatures, and they're so high on this lift that if they jump off the lift, they'll kill themselves. So they're faced with what the F they're going to do. And, you know, they're freezing to death. They have nothing to eat. And, yeah, man, she gets really bad really fast. And one of the coolest parts of this film is the wolves. And the wolves are kind of like Jaws in this film, man. They're absolutely terrifying, the wolves, man. I don't know what the name of those wolves are, if they're gray wolves or whatever those wolves are. They're the scariest wolves in the animal planet. There's no wolves more badass than these wolves. They're like twice the size of like a German Shepherd. They're massive wolves and super deadly, man. Frozen's a cool film. I talked about that way too long. I need to start racing through these movies. All right, we have Halloween 2, Hospital Horror. I used to have this way higher up on my list of Halloween films. I used to have it as my number 2. I think after rewatching it has dropped, though. It's still in my top 5, of course, but it's definitely not 2 anymore. All right, I think this is the 2018 Halloween. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of any of the newer stuff. We have Happy Death Day. This is basically like it's basically like the horror version of Groundhog's Day. Next up, we have a Shudder original, Gwen. Now, I went into thinking that this movie was going to be a witch film, and I'm a massive fan of witch movies. Now, this is one of those films that's filmed in a real location, and it's shot beautifully, and it looks great. The acting's great. It's set in a time in the 1800s, and you believe it's the 1800s. It's so well done, but you find out in the movie that the lady's not even a witch, which is bizarre to me. And it still had kind of a big impact on me. It still is a good film. You just wish she was a witch at the end of the film because you feel so bad for her. But yeah, comes with the slipcover. This is a movie that I remembered from a kid, but I was too young to watch it, so I only watched like bits and pieces of it. But yeah, man, Graduation Day. This is a Vinegar Syndrome release, and this is another whodunit where people at this school starts dying. All the kids start dying at this school, and they die during like athletics, like diving and at practice from a diving board, or one of the famous scenes where a guy's pole vaulting, goes over the vault, and then lands in a bed of spikes. There's all kinds of really cool like kills like that during the film. Big fan of this, man. 80s horror, man. You can't beat this, man. Graduation Day. Next up, we have with a lenticular cover, The Final Destination in 3D. I don't know what that is. This is the first one? No, I think this is like a remake or something like that. A reboot of the series, possibly? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I have not checked that one out. All right, I'm gonna take a pause real quick here, and then we'll move on to the rest of the video. All right, my goal is to knock this out in 1:30, so I really got to start moving here. Let's get into the, I think we're in the H's now. Probably my favorite post-2000 horror film right here, guys, Hereditary. You guys know how big of a fan of witchcraft I am. Not witchcraft in real life, but like in films, witches, witch movies. This has all of that, man. This is a heavy in witchcraft film. And yeah, man, I would say this is a modern day horror masterpiece, as someone wrote on the back of it. Yeah, man. Toni Collette is unbelievably badass in this film as far as her acting is concerned. Like many other people, I believe she should have won an Academy Award for this. Tremendous acting performance. She's so good. I have so much respect for her as an actress. Yeah, man, this is a really, really cool film. And it's got some of the most hilarious. It's got some hilarious, horrific scenes in it. I'll just put it to you that way. There's a couple of them. All right, now we're gonna fly through these. We have the foreign release here from a foreign director, The Host. I think this is a from I think what is his name? I think it's Bong Joon-ho. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. But yeah, man, this is like one of the first films that I've ever watched, or that I remember watching, that had subtitles, that I was like, oh man, why did I just buy this movie? It's got stupid subtitles in it. And thank God I got past the first like 10-15 minutes of the film, and then I was in for one of the greatest creature features I've ever seen in my life. This creature, this is Jaws. This is a Jaws type of film right here. This creature right here, the way it moves, the CGI in this film was outer world. Like, it was unbelievable at the time, and still to this day actually holds up, man. Yeah, really cool film, The Host. If you've not seen this, don't get this mixed up. There's another Host film, or The Host film. Get it with that art cover right there. So make sure it's the Bong Joon, might be Bong Joon-ho or Bong Joon-ho. Let me see. Oh, by the way, so this is in Quentin Tarantino's top 2000, Quentin's top 20. I think this, so in like 2006, Quentin Tarantino was in a video where he named his top 20 movies of all time, and this was in it. So yeah, man, highly respected film. I don't even know if this would be considered horror. I've only watched this one time. I think I was a little bit faded when I watched it. Hobo with a Shotgun. I probably wouldn't put that in the horror category, to be honest with you. Probably put that with my action films when I do an action, because I am going to do another Blu-ray video, guys. All right, we have grocery store horror done at its finest. We have Intruder here. Great film, lots of practical effects. I want to say Tom Savini had something to do with this, didn't he? I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to look it up because I'm taking too much time. I'm pretty sure he did. All right, we have It. This is the you know, the post 2000 one, where they're not the adult one, but when they were kids. Got that at $1.25. Set this up. I'll put all the movies in there. All right, we have Insidious: The Last Key. I don't remember hating that one. I think that was pretty good. And to me, this blows Conjuring out of the water. Insidious. Highly prefer this one over the first Conjuring. And even Insidious 2, I prefer over the first two Conjuring movies. Next up, we have the Jaws films on Blu-ray. The OG. Jaws 2. The only one that I'm not a massive fan of, Jaws 3, I think they went, it was just too over the top. My black stepdad's in it, though. So that's saying something. And then we have Jaws, The Revenge, which I love. I absolutely love this film. Make sure I'm going in the right order here. Where we're at I, J, K. All right, so we have William Shatner film. I picked this up. This is a Code Red Blu-ray here. And yeah, a movie from my childhood. I used to love those spider flicks, and this is one of the best spider flicks of all time. If I remember correctly, they used all real spiders in this film. So they had like hundreds of tarantulas on the set at any given time. Really a badass film, man. The ending, it has an epic ending to it as well. This is not too bad of a vampire film for a post-2010 release. Kiss of the Damned. Did not like the ending, though, man. The ending pissed me off. All right, speaking of Toni Collette, who I love, she's in this Krampus film, and I know I'm going to get some hate for this. I've never seen this film. I started to watch it one Christmas time, and for whatever reason got disinterested in it, but I heard it's a pretty good film, so I need to check this one out. There's a lot of rip-offs. It's a lot of, you know, $1.25 Bush Krampus type of films. This is not it. This is the OG, and Toni Collette's in it, so I gotta watch that. All right, I'm always talking up this film. I do not have the original foreign release. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. It's easy to mess this up. Yeah, this is the American release, Let Me In. Let the Right One In is the better of the two films. I'm always talking this one up. Post-2000, probably the best vampire film. Not even probably. This is definitely the best vampire film post-2000s. Or post-99. Or it might even go further back than that. That's how good the film is. And, yeah, if you haven't seen this. And this is one of those few movies where you have a foreign release that's unreal, and then you get an American release that's pretty badass as well. Grace, the girl that was in the Carrie remake, Chloe Grace Moretz is in that as well. All right, big fan of Leatherface Part 3. I like Part 2, but man, 2 is way too over the top with the comedy. I just feel like, you know, this one got back to what the 1974 film was all about, pure terror. And although there is some funny stuff in this one as well, but a lot less comedy in this one. That's why I enjoyed it so much. And then we have The Lost Boys. Don't sleep on The Lost Boys 2 and 3. I think one is better than the other. I think, well, they're not too bad. They're actually decent films. All right, like I know most people I know have never seen anything past Lost Boys, the first one. Obviously, that one's a classic, but I would say check out the other two. You might find some enjoyment in them. All right, moving on. We need to hurry up. All right, I've talked this up in the past, man. Look Away. Huge fan of this film. Basically, they have a... what happens is she has an identical twin at birth that dies, or is aborted or something of that nature. It does not live. Well, I guess the demon of her twin lives on, and she ends up finding her in the mirror one day, and all kinds of craziness happens where they end up trading places. And I won't go too far more into detail. I don't want to give up any spoilers or anything, but very original idea and concept, and I'm a big fan of this one. I always try to talk this one up and try to get people to check it out, man. Super fun film. Now, I used to be I really would talk this one up the lodge. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of one of those films, don't watch it too many times, because I felt like the second time I watched it, it was a little bit too soon, and it does not have the rewatchability that a lot of films have that I like, but I'm still a fan of it, and I love snow horror, films that are in the snow, and this definitely has a cool concept. The concept is so cool in the film. Once you find out what the concept is and the twist, it kind of ruins it for future watches. That's all I'm going to say about it. The Lodge. Okay. H-I-J-K-L. Okay, I screwed up. This is an H. So this is another film that I've not watched, The Happening. I was waiting for a Blu-ray release because I never can seem to find it in good condition. Every time I see it on DVD, it's in bad condition. So I finally found a Blu-ray release at, I believe, at Goodwill or a pawn shop, something of that nature. Heard it's pretty cheesy. I think it's like the nature comes to life and starts killing plants and whatnot. But looking forward to checking that out. Mark Wahlberg is, he's one of those actors like Lambert. You don't know if he's a really good actor or really bad. He's like, it's a very fine line for him as far as his acting abilities is concerned. I believe this is the remake, My Bloody Valentine 3D, which is a good remake. 2009 film. Okay, those are the P's. Let me see here. What was I on? What did I just show? I showed The Happening. No, I didn't just show The Happening. Oh, My Bloody. That's the M's. M-N. Okay, so we're in M's right now. I'm never going to get through this, am I, guys? All right, the M's. This is really cool. This is a badass first watch for me. Mosquito. And yes, you have our boy with the chainsaw there. Why am I forgetting his name? Oh, that's going to drive me crazy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You guys know who I'm talking about. Oh my God, I'm losing my head. Why is his name not on here? All right, hold on a second here, guys. Okay, Gunnar Hansen. I don't know why I couldn't think of him. Gunnar Hansen with a chainsaw and killer giant monster mosquitoes. I mean, are you kidding me? This film is incredible. Love it. Synopsis Films release, guys. I think it has reversible artwork. This is a badass film, man. Yes, it does. Here's the OG artwork. Love it, guys. Now we got Megalodon with the slip cover there. I thought it was good. Next up, we have Monster Party. If I remember, this is a pretty good film as well. Yeah, I think I like this one. I only watched this once before, but yeah, these thieves, these three small-time thieves act like they have a catering business, and they go to this rich house that's having a dinner party, and they're going to rob these people, and then they realize that this party that's being thrown ends up being like a murder party where somebody starts killing, and then everybody's like on their own trying to survive, and then everybody's like, I think it turns out like everyone's a killer. All these friends are murderers, so yeah, it becomes a murder party. There you go. Probably described that horribly. All right, there you go. Enough of that. All right, very interesting film here, man. Very cool flick. Out of print, Moontrap. I got this at a pawn shop. I think this is like 50, 60, maybe even more dollar movie here. Now, NASA makes an alien discovery. Actually, NASA, right? And Bruce Campbell and his partner in the movie go back to Earth while NASA puts a plan together. They have a really cool scene in a strip club where Bruce Campbell's just living it up, drinking, smoking, having fun with strippers and stuff. Really cool scene. Then they go back to space to land on the moon, and this alien cyborg race that had been stranded on the moon for 14,000 years because their ship broke down. And it took me a while when I was watching this to realize it was actually a cyborg film, which is right up my alley. This is one of those films I had no clue about. What a great surprise of a film this is, man. Moontrap. You gotta check this one out. There's one of the most hilarious scenes in a film that I've ever seen. I literally spit food out of my mouth and alcohol out of my mouth when I was watching it. Check it out. I won't tell you what the scene is, and it'll blow you away. I'm going to pause real quick here. All right, let's go over the ends here. We have A Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. Now, I do have a lot of respect for the actor that played Freddy Krueger in this. I was looking up his name earlier. Let's see. Jackie Earl something or another. Now I can't find it for some reason. Jackie Earl Haley, who's a really good actor. He was in a film that I watched, I talked about on one of my recent videos. Doll Man. He was in Doll Man. He was like the bad guy in Doll Man. He's been in a lot of good films. He's a really good actor. And unfortunately, this one didn't hit the mark for me, but I don't think it had anything to do with him. Oh, man. This is probably my favorite cover of all time. Nail Gun Massacre, man. This is a Code Red release. Such a badass release, man. Yeah, man, I love this film. That's all I can tell you, man. The guy literally has a nail gun, and he carries around. That's him right there. He carries around. He's in like this suit, right? And then he carries around an air compressed, right, in this container. So he has air pressure for his nail gun, and he has this like motorcycle helmet on with a dark visor, like he's a bad, like you know, like such an evil looking character, right? And then he talks with this. He sounds like a redneck Darth Vader, because he talks through this synthesizer. It is so epic, man. I love this film, man. I think it's really cool. The only problem that the audio is not really mastered very well in this movie. I think they had issues. I'd have to do some research. I think they had issues with the audio. Even this Code Red release, I mean, I felt like I had problems with the audio. That's it. If they somehow had fixed the audio in this movie, it's one of the cheesiest, best, like, B horror films of all time, right? All right, now, where are we at here? That was Nail Gun. This movie's all about location, location, location. It's got a tremendous location. It's got a real castle. Yeah, man. I'm actually a fan of The Nun. It gets hate as well for some reason, but the location had me, man. Part of the Conjuring series. Speaking of cover art, Night Killer, and it doesn't get any more cheesy than this, man. This is from Claudio Fergaso, who did Troll 2, which is considered by most the worst, or the worst film of all time, but the baddest, greatest film of all time, Troll 2. And yeah, this is very similar to this. He also did he do Zombie 4 as well? I think so. It says something about Bruno Mattei as well. Did he take over? I don't know. It's got all kinds of Italian directors written on the back of it. Yeah, this is all cheesy as hell, guys. Cool pickup, though. This is a cool release. This is a Severin release right here. It's just like Troll. It's so bad that it's actually good. All right, speaking of out of print, I just picked this up for like the second or third time. Near Dark. It's one of my favorite vampire films of all time. Yeah, man, 80s vampire flick. You cannot beat it, man. It's so freaking good. And this is a classic, man. Night of the Demons. Scream Factory release. What can I say about this one, man? Such an epic film. I love it, man. I really love this movie. Angela's having a party. Jason and Freddy are too scared to come, but you'll have a hell of a time. Night of the Demons. Some of the coolest, like, effects that I've ever seen in a horror film. Like when the demons are just like floating and there's like smoke and mist everywhere and they're just like floating through the hallways. It's so well shot, and it looks so good, man. Love it. I don't know. This would probably be considered horror because it's so insanely over the top. Natural Born Killers. This is the original uncut version. I just love the fact that what's it called is the dad in this, the dirty stepdad. Like he's so good in this film. Why am I forgetting his name? Hold on a second. I gotta tell you his name. Wow, this comes with a huge booklet. I don't even think I've ever taken this apart. Look at this booklet this comes with. It's crazy. Comes with a massive booklet, color booklet. That's really cool, actually. But, oh, Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield plays the, like, sick, just abusive, alcoholic stepfather in this film. And he's so disgusting, but he's so good in it, man. Robert Downey Jr.'s in this, man. Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis is at her best in this, man. This is a great film. I don't know if this would be horror. Probably shouldn't have that in the horror collection. All right, almost finished with the second box. Where are we at? Oh, man, we need to rush. This has all three Open Water films. Lesser known fact, Open Water 2 has 0 sharks in it, guys. There's literally one scene where they mention a shark and no shark comes, and you never hear about a shark the rest of the movie, and there's no fear of sharks the rest of the film. All right, we have the Ouija collection here. I remember these being decent, nothing too incredible. Ouija 1 and 2. The movie that, you know, really just destroyed it at the box office. This movie made so much money. It's just insane. Paranormal Activity, one of the ones that really, you know, popularized that, you know, put a cam in the house and see what happens type of filmmaking. And yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Good film. Good post-2000 stuff. Then we have Paranormal Activity 1, 2, and 3. The cool thing about the Paranormal series that a lot of people don't give it credit for, there's a lot of continuity within the actual series, which I highly enjoy. All right, we have the OG Piranha. Love it. A movie that I've talked about a lot on my channel, Pigpen. Real low budget film about a dysfunctional family and a young kid having to deal with a psychotic stepfather. Super good film, guys. You need to check this one out if you have not seen it. Pigpen. You heard it from the PWM. Then we have Piranha 3D. This is such a good film, man. This has the legendary scene where, I'm going to forget his name, of course. Yeah, I'm going to forget his name. He's on the back, but he's on a yacht with a glass-bottom boat doing cocaine off some chick's breast, sniffing cocaine off a chick's breast. A piranha comes and, I think, bites off his appendage. Let me put it to you that way. It's hilarious. Prometheus 4-disc collection. Jesus, there's 4 Prometheus films? Are you kidding me? Oh, no, it's just a 4-disc release of Prometheus. Wow. A lot of bonus features there, I'm sure. Watched Prometheus one time, and I was a little bit... I wanted more of the alien creatures, to be honest with you. But it was pretty good, though. I need to watch this again. All right, Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. This has one of the most hilarious horror scenes in a movie that involves a pregnant woman, I think. It's so good. Some of the practical effects in this are so well done. And this is a newer release Puppet Master movie, man. I was very surprised how much I enjoyed the, at least the practical effects aspect of this film. Not bad at all. I think this is a present by Tyler, and I still have not opened this, which is insane. Phantasm collection, which is what? 5-movie collection. Don Coscarelli's masterpiece. Yeah, never opened that. I was thinking about this the other night. It's time for me to go ahead and watch all 5 of these back to back to back to back to back. And I'll watch it on this this edition right here. And then the last film, I know this got a lot of notoriety. It's a good film, really nice twist to it. Parasite. Movie with subtitles. I'm not going to go into detail on that one because we're running late here. All right, last box here. Pause one more time and then we'll finish the video. All right, let's finish this up. I got 11 more minutes till the hour 30 mark, which I'm not going to be able to make, but I'll try my best here. Where are we at? I think we're at the R's. Are we at R's already? Well, I'm going to say we are. How about that? All right, everybody knows this. H.P. Lovecraft's Reanimator. Amazing film. I need to see Bride of Reanimator. I haven't seen that in years. I need to pick up a copy of that as well. Have a cool Australian, basically boar horror, Razorback. I remember, I think Steven Spielberg had good things to say about this movie, actually. Always sticks in my mind. I guess you could kind of say a guilty pleasure for me, Rest Stop. And I always found that there's some really iconic, like, hilarious horror scenes in this, particularly one that I can think of. And I just always find it so funny that the chick is in so much danger, and she's at the rest stop. She's waiting for the police to come, and then she knows this serial killer's heading her way as well, and she finds a bottle of liquor, and she downs it. She gets drunk as hell. It's like, it's so hilarious that she would get drunk in a situation like that. I don't know. I always found that funny. All right, now, moving on. Resident Evil. This has got the first 3 films in it. I've only seen the first 2, believe it or not, of these 3. I did watch the newest Resident Evil release, and I'm looking forward to watching another one. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, so I need to watch the 3rd film very soon here. And I think there's part 5 and 6 maybe of this series with the the girl, whatever her name is. All right, wasting too much time. Yeah, I know her name. All right, really cool shark film right here, The Reef. If you have not checked this one out, it's so good. And I love this, like the ship in this, it overturns and they're on top of the ship. And one guy is so scared of sharks that he stays on top of the ship. He does not get in the water. And I don't know if I blame the guy. It's literally a super tough decision because they have to swim to this reef. And the reef is like, I don't know, 20 miles away or some insane distance. And that one guy is not getting off that boat. Yeah, this is a really good shark film. It's one of my favorite $1.25 Dollar Tree pickups right here. If you see this, grab this. The 4-film Shark Attack collection. It has Shark Attack 1, 2, 3, and Shark Zone, which is the 4th film in the series. All 3 of the first 3 Shark Attack films are some of the best shark films I think of all time. They're not they're not as good as Jaws, but they're that lower level shark films that I highly respect. Shark Zone is a little bit too over the top, but I don't know. I thought they were all fun. That's just a great release, though. I'm putting this in my horror video here. I could put it in sci-fi, but it definitely has horror in it, so I think it fits good. Split Second with Rutger Hauer. The alien creature in this is, you don't see that a lot. They're very smart the way they film it. You just see like the tail, or you see the head fly by, like you see it like past the screen really fast. You see the hand, the claws. Like they film it so good that they don't ruin it, because it's hard to do an effect like that, but they do a good job of it. Very funny. He's hooked on sugar. Instead of drugs, he's eating like candy bars and Twinkie bars, coffee with spoons and spoons of sugar, and he gets his rookie cop that he teams up with hooked on sugar as well, which is hilarious. But yeah, Split Second, another MVD release, guys. Return to Sender. I'm a big fan of Rosamund Pike, and this has got Nick Nolte in it too. This is like a revenge flick, man, and Rosamund is so good in it. She is such a good actress. Definitely check that one out. We got The Return of the Living Dead. Everybody knows about that. One of those timeless movies that every time I watch this film, I always find something new. The Shining, Kubrick, epic horror right there. A newer release, we have Spree, which is basically the Uber horror film. I think it was all right, nothing too great. Then we have the classic The Silence of the Lambs. I'm a big fan of the Stranger franchise. Good shit. This is a cool slasher video release, Shock 'Em Dead. And this has got Tracy Lords in it, who is obviously a former porn star, but actually has some acting chops in that, and has respect for me as an actress. I think she's good in horror films. Basically, if I remember correctly, Shock 'Em Dead, yeah, this is the one where he sells his soul to the devil to be a rock star, if I remember correctly. Good shit, man. Then we have Split, which is, it's part of the, the M. Night Shyamalan 3 films. I like it, man. Split's a cool film. Speaking of superheroes that are bad people, there you go, right there. All right, I need to race through this. We have The Suckling. This is a really good film, man. This is a cool release right here. Shout out to Zomberry. Zomberry sent me this, if I remember correctly. This is I think a Vinegar Syndrome release. I gotta talk about this for a little bit. This is so hilarious because, so they have a brothel, right? Where, all right, sorry about that, guys. My phone ran out of memory, so I had to delete some videos. But anyway, so yeah, this is hilarious. There's a brothel, and there's also some illegal abortions going on. Where they use a hanger, they're sticking a hanger in your private areas and trying to pull out the baby, and that's what happens. I think one of the prostitutes has an illegal abortion, and they have a fetus, and they actually take the fetus and they flush it down the toilet. And speaking of alligator, right? This is like alligator, the human alligator. So the baby, this infant, goes into the sewer system, and then of course, there is nuclear waste introduced to the situation, some kind of toxic chemical leaking from a 55-gallon drum, dripping into the sewer system on top of this fetus, and this monster is created. It's a social message about abortion. Never abort your kids. And this monster goes to get revenge against this brothel. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen, but yet one of the best films I've ever seen. The Suckling is so classic. All practical stuff, guys. Incredible. If you've not seen that, check that out. All right, gonna race through this. S. Darko. I don't hate this like a lot of people do, man. I think it's pretty decent. I'm glad there's a part 2 to the Darko series. Shark Night. I'm not even sure if I've seen this yet. I probably have and just forgot. It's probably not that good. One of my favorite names of a film of all time. I pick up movies just because of the names, and this is no exception to the rule. Because this movie sucks otherwise. Slashdance. Yeah, this is a terrible film. Does not have the right to be called Slashdance. Let me put you that way. There's dancing, but the slashing is just pathetic. All right. One of the reasons why I slept in my mom and stepdad's bed for a couple of weeks straight, Salem's Lot. That's all I'm going to say. All right, I don't know why I have this alphabetically here, but this is a horror 3-pack here. Actually, not that bad for low budget films. I think the premise of Scar was pretty cool, actually. And the Midnight Movie thing, I don't know about that. I don't really even remember Terror Trap, to be honest with you. All right, moving on. Kirstie Alley film. I've never even opened this up. As big a fan as I am of witch movies, I kind of have some trepidation about watching this because it's like a 3-hour film. But I'm sure this is hopefully filmed like in Massachusetts, where all the real Salem witch massacres happened, or killings. All right, we have Saw. The complete movie collection has all 7 films. And that's not even opened yet. Need to check that out pretty soon here. Next up, we have Wes Craven's, an early Wes Craven movie. This might have been the first movie, and it has Linda Blair in it. Summer of Fear. Now, again, I'm a huge fan of witch films, and this does have witch elements in it. Not witch elements, it has a witch in it. So, wasn't blown away by it, but it's a pretty cool film. All right, now we're at the T's. We're almost done here, guys. Still have not watched this film on Blu-ray because I've never opened this up. My favorite horror film of all time in the 10 case here. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Yeah, definitely my favorite horror film of all time. Speaking of anthologies, Creepshow 1 and 2, we have Trick or Treat. Definitely the best post-2000 anthology. But is this better than Creepshow 1 and 2 is the question. I was very late to the party on seeing this, by the way, guys. I just watched this literally like 3 years ago. All right, we talked about Night Killer. We have Troll 2. The scene where the boy pisses on the food has got to be one of my favorite scenes in a horror movie. All right, next up here, really cool cockroach horror, The Nest. Yeah, this movie was incredible, man. Really enjoyed this one. I got some notes on it, but there's no time to read that right now. Let me see. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. The Jessica Biel remake. Or as some people like to call it, Texas Chainsaw Assacre. Get it? Ass. Jessica Biel. All right, I'm going too far with that. All right, next up here is, why is this? I don't know if I have this in the right place. What is this called? Oh yeah, I think this is Truth or Dare. This is the Spanish version of Truth or Dare. I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was. Good premise, Truth or Dare. I would say check it out. Definitely decent for post-2000 horror. And one of my favorite vampire movies, I always try to talk this one up. This is Strip Club vampire horror at its finest, Vamp, with the very intriguing and very weird Grace Jones as the head vampiress. Great shit, man. Great shit. All right, let's end this video right here. We have Vacancy. We have VHS. A movie that I finally watched after all these years, and I am such a huge fan of this film. Cronenberg film, Videodrome. Love it. Really cool Criterion release. I think I got this from Barnes & Noble as well. But, yeah, man, this is cool stuff. Looks like a VHS. Oh, I dropped that down there. Hopefully it didn't drop. Let me see. Let me make sure. That should be good there. All right, let me make sure I'm putting this in order. All right, it's going to be a little bit of a mix mash here. We have When a Stranger Calls, and then Happy Birthday to Me. I'm a fan of When a Stranger Calls. I think there's multiple movies. I think there's either 2 or 3 of them. And yeah, cool premise. And I think I've watched the remake. I think there's a remake. I love the actress here. What is her name? Carol Kane. I love Carol Kane. There's like this Office serial killer film that she's in where she's a serial killer that's really good as well, that I've talked about in the channel. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Now, Hereditary might be my favorite post-2000 horror film. It's a close running with this film right here, The Witch. I've never seen a film that was like trying to portray the 1800s, and you really like it. It feels like it's so time perfect. Everyone looks like they're from that time. Everyone talks like they're from that time. It's so well acted, literally to the point, guys, you don't even understand what they're saying because they talk like they talk from that time period. Super unsettling film. One of the greatest witch movies I've ever seen in my life. I'm putting it up at the top of my witch movies of all time. It's that freaking good. I love The Witch. And the last film, I think I read a news report that they feel like they finally named the Zodiac Killer. He was an ex-military guy or something like that. Let me know in the comments below if you've heard about this. And that is David Fincher's Zodiac. One of the greatest serial killer films of all time, guys. All right, that is it. That is the PMM's 2023 Blu-ray horror movie collection. And we are at probably past an hour and 30. I will talk to you guys later. See you in the next video. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I'm out of here.